Hello, and welcome to FTW Philly. I'm Marissa Magnata, and I'll be your host as we bring you into the world of esports each week. We're going to be taking a close look into this exciting industry and show you how esports is growing and thriving in our great city of Philadelphia. Whether you're already an avid esports fan, casually play video games, or completely new to gaming, we're here to provide you with the stories behind the players, tournaments, and organizations powering this booming industry. If you're thinking esports is just a bunch of teenagers playing video games in their parents' basements, think again, friends. Esports is primed to become one of the largest competitive verticals in the world. But what is it about this industry that makes it so attractive? The worldwide phenomenon features paid players, huge fan bases, sold-out stadiums, and enormous prize payouts. To kick things off, let's take a deeper look into what esports is, where it's going, and how Philadelphia is emerging as a national hub for gaming.
Philadelphia, a city that's no stranger to competition, with a deep history of sports and its notoriously loyal fan base. But over the last decade, there's been a new stage for competition that has seen rapid growth. Philly is helping pave the way. For the most part, this new industry has remained unfamiliar to the mainstream, until now. This is esports.
Esports is competitive video games. The second the first video game was made that you could compete against somebody else, you started holding casual tournaments. So it was competitive video gaming for 3 decades before the esports term and the craze took off. But at the end of the day, it's playing video games in a competitive format.
Esports has been fueled by popular titles like Madden and FIFA, battle royale and survival-based games such as Fortnite, electronic card-based games like Hearthstone, and team-based first-person shooting games like Call of Duty and Overwatch. This amounts to a staggering 211 million gamers in the US, with 83% of the 13 to 49-year-old age group in the country reportedly playing video games.
The stats are crazy about the number of people that participate in video games. The community is there, the passion is there. We also have players, competitive juices flowing, and they're trying to be the best, and that is what drives esports.
Increased awareness in the mainstream is amplifying, while esport tournaments continue to boast prize pots upwards of $30 million for a single tournament. By 2022, viewership is expected to climb to 300 million. To meet this demand, cities worldwide are providing avenues for esports athletes to make a living off of competitive video games, hosting arenas and growing businesses that tactfully parse territory. According to Newzoo, the leading global provider of games and esports analytics, revenues from global esports reached $865 million in 2018 and is expected to surpass $1.8 billion by 2022. A projection that sheds light on an evidently bright future for esports.
The market size for us is going to rapidly expand as you catch up with all of the rest of the gamers who say, now, you know what, I am a competitive video gamer. You have so many people who are spectating and watching, and now they have the opportunity to, be a player.
Esports is accessible to all. That's the beauty of it. For people that might not have connected with the traditional sport, might not be physically able to participate in a traditional sport, they can come and compete in esports.
You see a lot of people of all kinds of backgrounds coming in. The thing that I like about this community is that it could be the CEO of some company versus someone that works just part-time while they go to school. And they don't know, but they're still friends because they're doing what they're passionate about.
Traditionally, you'd need a computer or PC and a gaming console. But with modern smartphones, developers are able to bring detailed experiences directly to the mobile device. In Philadelphia, there are physical esport arenas where gamers can rent time at PCs or consoles to play.
Here at Nerd Street Gamers, we're focused on providing competitive opportunities for those amateur and semi-pro gamers. So, the pro leagues have their events and they're bringing out thousands of spectators. We're the facilities where those thousands of spectators can then come and actually compete themselves.
Enthusiasts may elect to play casually through pickup games or organized teams. But just like any traditional athlete could attest, sport requires practice and attained excellence to access big league level competition.
The only difference between esports and traditional sports is that you're sitting at a PC or a console. But there's still a lot of similarities in the physical and mental acuity that's needed for esports that there is in traditional sports. You have the same communication, teamwork, leadership, preparation, competitiveness, If you're not taking care of your mind and your body, you're not going to be as good of a competitive gamer.
The esport world has matured from an underground status that yielded few avenues to compete and grow. Today, its popularity has brought out ranking systems and real-world opportunities to win money and potentially become salaried full-time esports athletes.
It was a very niche community where you're only competing for bragging rights. Nobody really thought about money or really thought about even working in an industry surrounding that as well. And since then, everything's pretty much the opposite. People are going to college now, pursuing degrees, and trying to figure out how they can apply it within the esports industry.
Organizations and sponsors across the world pay competitive esports players big money to help grow their business, eerily reflecting how traditional sports players are paid now. Not only is the esports player base growing, but we see the audience for esports growing exponentially as well. In 2018, the total number of esport hours logged on Twitch, the largest game streaming platform in the world, reached 1.2 billion. But 5.8 billion viewers logged in as non-esport competitors, showing a vast potential for popularity growth, support, and influence.
We know that people watch online, the viewership is there, people like watching what they're passionate about, and people are passionate about video games.
To complement this trend, several matches from 2018-2019 were even broadcasted on ESPN and received high ratings to rival the NFL. An Overwatch tournament playing on ESPN beat out Amazon's first live stream of Thursday Night Football in its opening week, boasting a whopping 243,000 viewers per minute. It's gaining incredible traction, and Overwatch is likely the heavyweight contributor to this immediate growth. In 2017, Activision Blizzard, one of the world's largest video game and film holding companies, introduced their Overwatch League to cities, which expanded the reach of esports. The League is a competitive team-based first-person shooter scenario of 6, fighting against each other in multiple game modes with different objectives to see which team can come out on top. For their 2019 season, the Overwatch League will feature 20 city-based teams competing in 560 regular season matches, leading to a playoff series and ultimately culminating in a grand final. But how far are you removed from this world? If you're living in Philadelphia, it's closer than you think. Philly will be hosting the grand finals, as it's home to the Philadelphia Fusion, the city's own Overwatch team.
The franchise model that the Overwatch League took on, where we have these regionally based teams, it goes a long way to building support in those local communities. People that might not have connected with esports or with the Overwatch League see the Philly Fusion and they become fans just by having that inroad.
You might as well get comfortable, because Fusion is building an arena, promising to make Philadelphia one of the largest esport hubs on the East Coast. By the fall of 2019, the new Fusion Esports Arena will sit amongst Goliaths like the Wells Fargo Center, Lincoln Financial Field, and Citizens Bank Park in the sports complex in South Philly. It'll be home to the nation's elite amateur esports league, host the National Championship Series presented by Nerd Street Gamers, and open the gate to other arenas blossoming in the true Philadelphian sub-social tradition.
We're in a really good place where, you combine everything that's going on right now with a future where we're about to have the most advanced esports facility in the entire world, the Fusion Arena. We're really, in a place where we can lead what it looks like for a city, a geography, or a community to both invest in and grow esports.
Esports is here, and this is only the beginning.
As we begin our journey into the world of esports, let's start at the ground floor and look into some of the elements of esports. The first of these elements we'll highlight is the fighting game. The fighting game is exactly what it sounds like. A one-on-one game where two players select characters to fight against one another. If you're familiar with the likes of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, then you know the gist. There's a huge sub-community of esports that revolves around the fighting game, and tons of opportunities to get in on the action. Whether you're a top-tier competitor, getting started in the competitive scene, or just playing casually and looking for some friendly competition, the Nerd Street Gamers over at localhost Philly have been creating avenues for any level of gamer to train and compete in just about any multiplayer or single-player game that you can think of. To further understand the fighting game community, or FGC as it's known within the industry, let's take a look at what a fighting game is and how its games are training and competing right here in Philadelphia.
There are a lot of lights, a lot of cameras. You hear a lot of yelling and screaming, but it's such a hype moment. Like those 5 minutes you're playing on stage, it feels so surreal and the time just passes before you know it.
The video gaming scene in Philadelphia is very strong. Everyone always sleeps on Philadelphia and says, Philly ain't nothing. Wrong. There's always stuff going on in Philly, particularly the FGC. There's always people playing fighting games.
FGC stands for Fighting Game Community. It's a community of not just one specific game, but multiple ones.
Behind us, we have like the Tekken, the Street Fighter, Soul Calibur tournaments about to start.
Anime games like Dragon Ball, other games like Mortal Kombat. And it's a community that gets together to run events so we can all come together and compete. There isn't a standard on what's considered a fighting game specifically, but most people consider them games where each person playing picks a character of their choice. People usually have a preference on play style. Some like to be more defensive, some like to be more offensive.
Usually there's 2 characters and there's 2 players. Basically, you see the other player and character as your enemy, so you want to beat them up. And there's a life bar at the top of the screen. The goal of the game is to deplete the life bar by hitting the opponent to knock them out. It's like in boxing, same idea.
A lot of them have different types of punches, block or a guard, different sorts of kicks. So like if you were going to see judo or something in the Olympics like that, except that instead of using your body, you're going through buttons. But a lot of the same principles I've found apply from just even like my fencing days. Like if you were to feint an attack, to try to draw out a reaction from the opponent and get them to make that move so that you can come back and counter it.
As a competitor, these training grounds or meetups really help sharpen my skills. They allow me a chance to go offline and play other people in real life. Most fighting game tournaments, and especially ones that have the most money on the line, are offline events. So there's a timing difference between playing online and playing offline. Being around people, the loud noises. Secondarily, having a place to go like this really helps me have more opportunities for my gaming career. Tournaments, to get more competition. People will put in money, there's more money for me to play for. And the pressure is good because you need the pressure to kind of get used to the tournament atmosphere of playing for something more than just for fun.
Philadelphia provides a lot of opportunities for aspiring esports athletes. I know in other cities that's not always the case, but in Philadelphia, any given month, whatever game that you play, more often than not, there's an event somewhere that you can go to get that experience.
When we decided to make the tournament, we wanted it to be community focused. So we actually had a laundry list of different names that we wanted all the members, everyone that comes in, supports the events, competes, enjoys watching, gets a hand in actually naming the tournament. And the reversal came about because at the time, FGC in Philadelphia, it kind of has a weird mindset where there's like an old guard and a bunch of new blood coming in, and this is the idea that we're not growing, we're not supporting each other. So this tournament is supposed to be the base of changing that train of thought. We have some cameras to kind of show the crowd, get the handshakes, you know, at post-game when the 2 competitors are done, to kind of show that that's the atmosphere we're occurring here. We want to showcase the pop-outs, we want to showcase the salt, the aggravation. These are competitors. They are practicing 4 to 6 hours a day playing. The point of the cast here is to show that they are high-caliber players and what it takes to get to that level.
You get some of the best players on the East Coast that come down for Tekken.
So I start playing offline at the arcade. When you play with your money, you gotta win. So I start playing that game like that and learned it by not losing my money a lot. It gave me a lot of focus, to be honest. Especially my character. When you're playing a Brian, you have to be super patient because Brian can almost punish everything. As long as you focus and know what's coming, you're good.
As I know it right now, it is myself and Reflex Sunny in winners finals, which is 2 very defensive, patient players.
Commander, we go back and forth. Sometimes he wins, sometimes I win. When like there's 2 good people, it's only about who make good decisions, who make better decisions, who's punishing properly. He's not one of those guys you might want to just put him on the side. He's really good.
It's hard to put into words what it feels like whether you're winning or losing in a game, but the same passion is there. Just like in regular sports, whether you get a home run, you get that alley-oop in, you know, that feeds the crowd, the same energy is there, and you just have to be able to tell what it is. So there's jargon, your one-frame links, your mix-ups, your cross-ups. Even some of those actually intertwine. Cross-up in basketball is basically the same deal as cross-up in a fighting game. It's a left-right that you're supposed to, whether or not figure out your opponent's gonna go left or right, and if you call it wrong, in basketball, they potentially get a chance to score. In fighting games, you get hit.
These places are actually really, really important if you want to learn fighting games. If you come to these places, ask questions, no matter where you go, there will be one person better than you.
if I'm not winning every match without losing a game, there's something to learn. Whether it's the smallest thing, just remembering fundamentals, or what are my neutral decisions in this moment, what could I have chosen to do better.
For me, this event was like really good practice for Summer Jam next week. In my area, I don't get to practice a lot. So this is my only last chance to come here and prepare. And so far it's doing good.
I always tell people that if physical sports like American football, soccer, and baseball are games of the body, these are games of the mind. It's execution. They are mathematical equations you're running in your head in milliseconds. You gotta know the frame data, you gotta know the matchups, you gotta know the character. There's so much time and thought that goes into this.
A lot of what you see is the player hitting the opponent before the opponent can hit them. But as the player, there's a lot of numbers that goes into it. There's a lot of understanding the opponent that you're playing. There are mind games. When you're looking at it from a deeper level, it's definitely heavily science-based. But when you put everything together, you make it look like a beautiful art piece.
There's some really good players here. This is my first Summer Jam, but I went to EVO last year, and that was really fun. And then I went to Strong Style earlier this year. I actually played Anakin at Strong Style, and I think the same exact thing happened. I got 2 rounds on him, but it wasn't on stream or anything. So this time it was on stream. I was like, okay, like stop focus on the fact that it's Anakin, let's just play my game. I tried to get away with like Lee stuff, but he wasn't falling for any of it. So I tried to be a little unorthodox in this play, and I got a few rounds, so I was really happy. That was my goal.
When you're studying your own footage, first you have to be very impartial. You have to look at it like, did I win, did I lose? What did I do good, what did I do bad? Sometimes in the moment, you don't understand the decision that you're making. So when you come back later with a fresh mindset, you can look at it a lot differently. Like, why did I risk it there? Why didn't I just back away and do nothing? I had a life lead. I should have let the clock kind of play itself out. There's a lot of micromanagement that comes into it.
If you play video games, come out to these events. You're going to enjoy it.
Like, your mind will be changed. Like, you'll see all the people around, you'll feel the energy. Like, this is a real deal.
We have people that come out from Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, New York, New Jersey. It feels a lot like a family reunion, but at the same time, it still has that competitive atmosphere.
I've seen people come, I've seen people go, I've seen new people rise to become titans of their craft. Even though it has grown in scope and production value, especially as the technology is advanced as well, it's... some things never change. Like that.
As we get deeper into the moving parts of esports, you'll start to notice that it's never too late or early to get into gaming. In this next segment, we highlight 2 young gamers who have found their passion for gaming at an early age. Along with their parents' support while balancing schoolwork and other responsibilities, they sign up for tournaments, sometimes playing against people 3 to 4 times their age. Let's follow along to see what the next generation of esports athletes look like.
It's just this great bonding experience. Everybody comes together. You like forget about the outside world. Cheering these guys on. It's one big community, man. We love it. I coach a soccer team. I watch them play video games. I bring them to these games. Flyers came to town. Apparently people said ice hockey will never work in Philadelphia. Now we have an esports team called the Philadelphia Fusion, and people are saying, oh, that'll never work. Every sport, baseball, soccer, ice hockey, football, they're kids games that adults play, and now esports is becoming the next thing. It's a kids game, but adults play and make millions of dollars.
I found out about Fortnite from my friends. Practicing started off a bit sloppy, but it got better. My favorite thing about video games is that if you're sad, it will make you happy.
My dad actually passed when I was young. My mom was just looking for something to like bring some joy into the house, so she brought a Nintendo Entertainment System home, and it was like this whole new world. Being able to express myself and just have that little piece of fun in the middle of my bedroom was an amazing experience, and like I love to pass that on to my son now. And the drop. Get them mats. You got a strategy?
Go somewhere where no one goes and then kill you.
All right, let's do this, man.
I get better at gaming by practicing.
don't super dash that much in Dragon Ball.
And don't super dash that much. I mean, you know the saying, practice makes perfect. When I go to these tournaments, I feel like so amazed. I like people watching me play games and stuff.
I see where parents do come from. At first, I was very skeptical, but I feel if you actually are in it with your kid, you would see it's not boring, it's not annoying. When I actually seen him play, there was a lot of the pro gamers hyping him up, and he feels better about himself with people that does a lot more things that he likes to do, and so I see him get along with a lot more people in the fighting game tournaments than anything else so far.
You can really build communities here. I've raised my son in the stands, and I feel like dads and sons are going to bond over going to see the Philadelphia Fusion play in this giant arena, and why not? It's the same thing as taking your kid to a baseball game or a soccer game.
One day I would like to be a pro gamer. I would have a beard. I would play Dragon Ball a lot.
He actually has a potential to actually make it a career and make a living. I'm all for it. As long as my kid's happy, then I'm behind my son 100%.
My kid loves this. I want to embrace what he's into and encourage him to be the best at anything. I don't know what he's going to be when he grows up, but I want him to know that whatever he does, his dad's going to support him 100%.
There's no denying that the future of esports is bright, and Philadelphia is full of opportunities for gamers looking to compete in a friendly or competitive scene. Thanks for watching. I'm Marissa Magnotta, and this is FTW Philly.